The minister who baptized Jeffrey Dahmer has told how the cannibal serial killer told him horrific details about his crimes, but they still became friends. Church leader Roy Ratcliffe even revealed he felt a sense of grief when Dahmer was brutally murdered with an iron bar by fellow inmate Christopher Scarver. His savage death came just a few days after Roy had received a Thanksgiving card from him in which the killer spoke of their friendship. The serial killer was serving a life sentence for the disturbing and gruesome murders of 17 boys and young men. But while he was behind bars he claimed to have found God. In an exclusive interview, Roy told The Sun Online about his conversations with the man he calls Jeff. And he revealed the gruesome details the killer shared about eating part of one of his victims. Roy, 75, was working at a church in Wisconsin, where Dahmer committed his crimes and was later jailed. He had been asked by another minister, from Oklahoma, if he would baptize Dahmer, who had expressed his wish to do so after finding God. After several balked at the prospect of being in a room with the mass murderer nicknamed the Milwaukee Cannibal, eventually Roy agreed to carry out the baptism. I said, "Okay, sure, what's his name?" And the guy who had called me said, "You might want to sit down for this." Then he told me, "It's Jeffrey Dahmer," Roy told The Sun Online. Roy said that at the time he was relatively ignorant of the details of Dahmer's crimes. And it was only when his wife said you ought to learn more about him that he began reading more on the topic. When I first met him I didn't know the grisly details. And I think it was better not to know because it allowed me not to be prejudiced towards him. Roy made his first visit to prison to meet Dahmer in April 1994. And was led through doors where the banging was a little disconcerting, to a room with a just table and chairs to wait for Dahmer. He had been warned to take off his tie in case it was used as a weapon, and began to notice he was sweating while he waited. Then in a few minutes Jeff enters the room and closes the door and shakes my hand, then sits across from me, he said. I was impressed about how courteous he was and how willing he was to be cooperative. He was considerate, which I found surprising. Given that he had killed people, I thought he would be a rougher person, but he was gentle as far as I could see. For a moment there I'm thinking I'm in a room all by myself with a man who's murdered so many people. And I was a little apprehensive. I was thinking, what's going on here? He confessed to me that he ate a bicep of one of his victims. Roy Ratcliffe. Then we started talking about how he wanted to be baptized, and after that I forgot about being apprehensive. In fact, Dahmer had been scared of meeting Roy and heaved an unusual sigh when he agreed to baptize him. I said, "Why did you make that sound?" And he said, "I was afraid of meeting you. Because I thought you would say I can't baptize you because you've been too evil. But if a man is seeking repentance for his sins, then I should help him. That's all I was thinking about." As they started talking, Dahmer began to open up about the dark aspects of his crimes, in particular his cannibalism. He confessed to me that he ate a bicep of one of his victims. I knew there was cannibalism in his story. I didn't think he was playing around and that it was a genuine confession. There was no question in my mind that he hadn't done these things. In my mind I think there was no one there to stop him, and one thing led to another and to another. He's like the quote from Shakespeare that about being so deep in the blood that you can't get out.